Hello, today is a very short The Heavenly Tea debate about this. Sharing, preaching. It's an innate thing, isn't it, in human to share. That's why we're in families, in partnerships. What does sharing mean? The true sharing that's the beneficial for you and the other person is when you are considering the thing that you're sharing to be valuable for yourself and the other. So there should be a match between you, the subject, and the person you're delivering it to. Here we go. You are choosing whether or not to watch this video, so you're my match to my sharing. And I am moved to share because of something within me. So depending on my state of alignment with my spiritual being, the value of whatever I deliver, share, is going to be higher or lower. So if I am a sharer, which is what I am on this channel, it behooves me to make sure that I am as clear as possible so that whatever I'm receiving and sharing, bringing out through me, is from a high vibrational stance. It's basic, isn't it? But it's that high level source energy information that is worthwhile sharing, valuable. So some people share information that they've got from sources they believe are important. That can be great. Some people share information to get something for themselves, maybe a bigger audience, a sensationalism, that sort of thing. That's a kind of like a heavy marketing. That's something I don't like. Hello, pussycat. The sharing I love is this. As you know, INSPIRITION is my modus operandi. It was the name I gave my band, 2006, and I've kept it with me. My website is inspiration.biz because it's the spirit. Everything coming through from the spirit is what I stand for. It's what I'm here, what I'm doing on the planet. So if I have something that wants to come out like this. So I am working on how to present my work to you, all of you, to attract to me the people who want to learn what I have. And what is that? This other way of working with children and with adults, but working from the spirit. So the full human potential, all of our other skills, from remote viewing, receiving drawings, I call those shamanic drawings, receiving stories, scripts, yes, drawings, paintings, but anything that comes directly downloaded from your spirit. Also, the other kind of viewing, of course, I propose all over my videos are how to scan your bodies, physical, for health. You can heal anything in your physical body, etheric body, spiritual bodies, yourself and others. So all levels of awareness where you're using your spirit, which uses your brain, it does, and your physical body, the entire physical body, but it's coming from there rather than some kind of rote, repetitive learning from someone else that I'm just packaging in a new form and handing over there. So everything I do is about original source energy connection and enabling you to bring that out in others, whether it's your friends, your family, your children, you're the teacher of children. It doesn't matter. All of my training is about that. And I'm finding my way how to bring that to the world because the world has not yet said that that is a valuable thing, even though you and I understand that the results of that work, innovation, enhanced creativity, connection, therefore this alignment, emotional alignment, so you're able to weather the storms and understand yourself better. You are able to hold your health. I just had someone saying, oh, how lucky you were with your health then, when I was saying I pay too much money to the government. And I said back, well, actually, I've studied my body and health since I was a little girl. So, health, innovation, creativity, personal awareness, therefore interpersonal relationships being positive and wonderful, allowing and enabling the channeling through from your spirit of new information to create a better world, right? Very important, what we need. So that's what I do. And the question is, how do you market this? How do you bring this to you? How do I find you? How do I attract you to me? What language do I use? How do I present it? And I was musing to myself two things. A friend who was a dear, dear friend of mine who has I made a video of her quite recently about teeth, if you want to go check it out. She is now in a very, very scared place, and she just has been shutting down, and I've been trying to give her love left, right and center for the last few years, and she's been just closing more, and she's in a very closed place. And from that closed place, my gentle advice about a shampoo she was using, which I know is toxic, caused a big storm, and she went into hatred and called me preaching. So that was interesting because, of course, what she meant, the energy with this word preaching, she was talking about the Sunday pulpit where you've got to sit still and listen to someone who you think is a pile of nonsense, right? Because her fear was rejecting me so much, she had to reduce my love into something bad, even though I did that in a gentle way. And I was thinking, okay, so I know I've tied myself up in knots from that kind of comment. My own mother was entrapped. I mentioned this here and there. No one knows who she is, but it's fine. We have different surnames. And, she was so entrapped by entities that if I ever tried to even speak a full sentence, that was bad. That was wrong. I was showing off. Everything I said was wrong, basically. And so, of course, I grew up believing that somehow I was always wrong. I was always in the wrong place, doing the wrong thing, saying the wrong thing. Whatever I had chosen to do was wrong because she always needed me to do something else and was always interfering. Interrupting is the word. So that was interesting because how do you get from that state of, am I allowed to even have thoughts that I express? Is it possible to express them? Will there be someone who will hear? To being a teacher of children who encourages ultimate expression, full expression through them, because we teach what we've learnt. I realized that was a really good crash course reminder for me as an old soul to, yeah, my goodness, that can happen. You can be completely blocked off by your parents. So if I can work with a child to help them flow out, remember the contact, maintain the contact with their inner being, how wonderful is that? So they don't have shackles and cages on them. And now, of course, because of all that years and years of experience, I have been working now with adults to basically do the same, because adults are just children with many, many coats on. Yes. So we just take the coats off. So I was musing about the preaching from my friend and the stopping of all expression and the labeling of any expression as showing off from my mother. And I was recommended a book called Step into the Limelight. I can't remember the author yet. She's got a funny name. I'll put it in the credits, the description. I remember reading that about, I think it was 2012 when I was working with an American agent for my band as a singer-songwriter. And it read well, and it was about, just being free and confident. So that's what I was then able to be completely mastered with working with children. And now that I'm addressing you guys, adults, yes, just bigger bodied children, hey? I am taking all these lessons and musing about it because, of course, part of what I'm teaching is for you too. If I'm encouraging you to be at one with your spirit, to enable the impulses, the intuition, those little voice whisperings, the image flashes, the ideas that we usually discard. If I'm training you to work with children so that they don't throw it away, if I'm training you to be the new kind of teachers that we need, and parents and homeschoolers, then I need to be very clear about this. What is authenticity? Preaching, sharing, talking at, listening to, working with. And I often find myself, if I'm in an interview situation, where, of course, it's a beautiful thing to lay the floor open and let your guests speak. And sometimes my guests will say they want to talk about something, and then I get them to the interview and no. No matter how much I bring them back to the original thing, they kind of wander all over the place. So I have to be gently a sheepdog and bring them back. And sometimes there's a little voice of censorship in me saying, oh, I'm not sure whether you should come in and talk. But that's just the old story still of my mother coming in and interrupting me and not allowing a full sentence. So this thing of when you get to be in a leadership position, which is, of course, what I'm touting here, what I'm being, this platform and all the social media that I put out, it's saying, I know something that's really useful for you guys. I'd love to share it. And I've come to this from my lifetimes, my particular soul experience and all of the experience I've had in this life and my tenacity and perseverance in holding this inner knowledge in a world that doesn't value it. And here we go, because I've heard you, I've watched you, and I've listened to you, and you're all saying you want that. And here I am, ta-da, got it. Right, now that's a lovely piece of simple marketing, isn't it? It's what I wrote about in my PhD. It's so simple, but I had this model of transmitters and receivers. That was before I knew about the law of attraction, which I now prefer to call the law of resonance. But this is ultimately what marketing is. And it's what a conversation is, isn't it? It's the synapses. Think of the nerve cells in the body. Signal, reception. Signal goes back. It's this two-way flow. Listening, talking. And conversation is an art. When I was in Weimar, which is old East Germany, but it was the place in East Germany when Germany was split into East and West Germany, Weimar of the Weimar Republic, and where Schiller, who was a very famous poet, came from, where Goethe, even more famous poet, playwright, Renaissance man, was musician, botanical arts, all kinds of things, and many, many others. Liszt lived there, Bach lived there, Mendelssohn didn't, but the Bauhaus was there. Okay, go back to Weimar. There was this woman called Anna Amalia, and it was Anna Amalia's round table. And she had these people sitting at this massive round table. And I remember when I visited that place in 1991, before I got married to the German man I was married to, who was the father of my 3 children, we went on this road trip with his twin brother. So I had these 2 tall, blonde, blue-eyed Germans accompanying me. And Weimar was decrepit because it was East Germany. And the thing that really lit my soul was the music school, the Hochschule für Musik, where this old Tinker-Tonker piano was playing out of the window. It needed tuning. It was far too old and decrepit, really, for a music school. But it was this lovely romantic wafting of music from an open casement window above a courtyard with these beautiful gates that I sketched at the time, which led into Anna Amalia's palace. And she was the Duchess there, and she had all these thinkers around her round table, and she would have her weekly meetings of discussion, philosophy, debating all of the aspects of culture. And I loved that idea. And that started me off on how am I as a social being? And I used to have people come into my house and enjoy and cultivate the art of conversation, later taking that into vernissages at the art gallery I had, and the idea of making something which is a concert and food and drink, sociability and culture, art, as one beautiful homogeneous adventure. So this thing of how we speak with each other is actually, oh my God, it's such a rarity. We have Zoom calls, and ironically, I'm going to invite you to Zoom calls if you come on my courses. However, the delight of real conversation and sharing in person is now becoming one of the rarest, most exquisite things that we can experience as humans. Yes, because it's all very well Zoom. You get to see and you can hear to an extent, but you don't get the full body language. And the feeling, yes, you can feel people over thousands of miles. I do that frequently. But having someone in person, the vibrational field of their person near you, that is an extraordinary experience and one we need to cherish. So communication, sharing, preaching, a very viable subject to speak on. And as I'm going to be telling you, exploring, explaining, and having conversations about the work I'm doing, training you as teachers of the New Earth Education, the Speaking House, I am going to be talking a lot about talking. It's been my subject for a long time, of course, with singing and with acting training. And now I just not disguising it anymore as singing or acting or performing arts. I'm actually talking about human beings developing us, rethinking us, and breaking ourselves free from the matrix into our true, pure spiritual essence, uniting the physical and the spiritual in our lives and daily practice. So that's all for now. Thank you very much for listening. I do hope that you will like this and share it and spread the word so that we can grow this and attract the people who really want to be working with children in this way, or working with other groups of adults. It doesn't matter who you're working with, but from the spirit first in a teacher situation, how to open up a person, how to re-enable their trust to their inner perception, their inner receivings, their intuition in all areas of learning. Thank you very much. I'm Dr. Isabella May, and this is the Heavenly Tea.